Here's the deal. There's a ton of anxiety and pressure focused mostly on the presidential candidates, obviously the House and the Senate and all the things. But today we're going to talk a little bit about what you can expect and the impact it might have on the real estate industry. I'm Jeremy Kane with eXp Realty, living in the Denver suburbs, over on YouTube, and just want to bring you a little bit of hope to this and calm, because obviously as this approaches, this election has been hyped up mainly due to the presidential piece. And I think as a real estate industry, we just need to not take our eye off the ball with some of the things that are going on. But if you're here for the first time, please throw me a comment. If you want to start arguing in the comments, that's great. It helps me with engagement. But hopefully keep it kind and clean, and we'll get rolling. So obviously Colorado's political landscape has a ton of stuff. This is my mail-in ballot that I just had here, and there is a lot of things on it. So I figured I would just point out a couple things. But first, I want to tell you it's all going to be okay. And just because one candidate gets in or the other candidate gets in doesn't mean that the mortgage interest rates are going to be 8%. I saw that somewhere today, or 3%. I saw that somewhere yesterday. And we all just need to understand that there's a lot more that goes into this than who the president is. While their policies and things may come into play, just let's all take a deep breath and let's really focus on the things. And I'm just going to point you in the direction of the amendments and give you a quick rundown. And I am reading this, I don't want to mess it up. So Amendment G, modify property tax exemptions for veterans with disabilities. So this would expand the eligibility for property tax exemptions to include veterans with individual unemployability statuses, not just those with 100% permanent disability. So giving that a little bit as you go. Veterans in Aurora who previously didn't qualify for full property tax exemption may now benefit, making home ownership more obtainable. So that is kind of the property tax one as it relates. If you're anything like me, I get extremely weary and I really dive into those property tax bills, especially because, we voted what I would consider the wrong way recently on a few things. And it seemed like it was a great idea. And then all of a sudden our property tax bills come and they're pulling back some of the TABOR and some of that stuff. And we didn't really realize what it was going to be. And then we're angry when our property taxes go up. So just make sure you're looking into those. There's some great tools you can use with AI and stuff to kind of, play the game. Be careful what you're using, because sometimes there's internet and opinion and bias that's put in there, but there are things like Notebook LM that you could plug in this specific ballot and ask it questions, and it will only look at that one. So I would highly recommend that. In fact, my buddy Adam Gillespie is going to be dropping something like that and a link to that, I believe, this week. So if you want that, let me know in Colorado. It's going to be Colorado specific. Just comment GPT in the comments and I will get that over to you, but it's going to be pretty cool, I think. The next piece from the ballot is Amendment K. And this is going to modify the constitutional election deadlines. So this is something that was pulled out of it. It could affect the property tax billing cycles and other real estate related timelines if the election gets moved around. So dive into that and go from there. The impact potential adjustment is when property taxes are due, offering more flexibility to homeowners and affecting real estate transactions. So that's kind of that. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about the end all be all, right? We talked about Trump and Harris and kind of what they were talking about. Sometimes we run on these really, sexy pillars, and sometimes it doesn't come to fruition. So the truth is, the election outcomes, we've talked about this a little bit, interest rates never go up. I did see one stat that said that, over the past 50, 60 years, there's only been 1 year that after an election, a presidential election, that property values went down. And so they were saying that, it's really good. We have a presidential election, so our property values are going to go up. Well, the truth is there's been very few years in that entire time frame, not just every other 4 years, the property values have gone up. So in addition to the years that there was presidential elections, the other 3 years of each cycle, real estate, typically appreciates unless, we've had a couple little blips in the radar, but not a ton. So that statistic is completely overblown because it's all the years mostly, not just the presidential election years. So how we step back and how we react, right? I really want you to focus on the bills, focus on this, try and remove as much emotion from the presidential stuff. Once you start the ballot, that's very first, and you can put that behind you and you can be super emotional, and then we can get dialed into some of the things that matter. And I would encourage you to do that anyways, right? We want to make sure that we are promoting our civic duty and staying involved, right? And your vote matters more than ever. So get out and vote, do it however you want. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. So just make sure that your vote gets counted and that you're taking care of business, hitting those deadlines and doing all the things. So, how is this going to affect investment decisions and things like that? The honest truth is the president, while they, have a huge piece of all of that, I don't think that they're going to affect our market, very much. And I think that our market will continue to roll. We should see, we're gaining that inventory. We'll see if the rates do actually come down. Like some people have said, I saw the other day that someone said 8% was coming. Like just roll with the punches. And the truth is that I'm putting houses under contract, by the week here, right? I've had a really good, early fall here, and people are out there, people are buying, people are doing what they're doing. And so that's great. Now, these next couple weeks may be extremely slow. There's going to be a lot of stuff. There's going to be a lot of fear. And I just want you to realize and remember that we're all humans, right? And if your candidate doesn't win, let's really focus on what happens and go from there. Make sure that, again, your vote's getting counted and that you do vote and you do participate. Because while you may not care about the president or you may care a ton about it, there's these other initiatives. And trust me, when the taxes went crazy in Colorado and people's tax jumped because of how we voted on a ballot, they didn't remember that they voted for certain things, but they do remember and they do call me when that happens. So get ahead of it. Spend a little time on, okay, well, how's that going to affect my life if, the veteran disability pool gets, expanded? Is that something I'm on board with? Whatever that looks like, just make sure that you are focused and dialed in. And again, removing that uncertainty and anxiety. And, understand that the mortgage rates and the financing and all of that, the economy certainly will be affected. But if we see the fluctuation of interest rates by a little bit here and there, it's not major. It's just when they, are at extreme lows and extreme highs that we've seen, highs considering how much our property values are and things these days, that we're seeing some, people really lean on this as policy and all of those things. So that's that. If you do have, a lot of that anxiety going on, I would encourage you to, go to your trusted resources, spend a little time just reading what they are. If the little blurbs on the ballot, it's nice in Colorado because we have the mail-in ballots. At least we can look at them. I will be voting in person. But you do have a lot of resources. I will actually put the Colorado state link to that so you can look into it, you can read all the PDFs, and you can go from there. But make sure that you're really diving into it and what it looks like, right? Our politicians have gotten really good at hiding different things within bills and things like that. So we want to make sure that you have that full knowledge of what's going on when you're going to vote, and just know that your property taxes, if your property taxes don't go up, they're going to get it from the sports gambling, they're going to get it from here, they're going to get it from there. So really dive into what exactly you're voting for. And that, being informed should limit your anxiety about what's actually going on. focus on what you can control. What you can control is showing up and, doing your research and voting. Don't vote blindly, please. That's not very good ultimately, and usually ends up poorly. If you do have any questions about your property taxes, how this will affect you, or you have, some city or county initiatives that you want me to look into, you can obviously reach out to me, send me a DM anytime, and I'd be happy to kind of give you that information and let you know what we're hearing on that. And then, prioritize the important bills to you, right? There's some about hunting, there's one about school choice, there's obviously the big ones, the president, and some other ones. So make sure that you are really focused and comfortable with it, because I will tell you, this is a pretty in-depth full page and backside of initiatives, at least where I live here in Colorado. So make sure you're doing that, and then get out and vote. Let's do this, and let's keep it clean, hopefully. Be safe out there. There's a lot of people with a lot of feelings on this, and then obviously practice mindfulness, be a good person, and that's it. So those amendments, Amendment G and Amendment K, on the Colorado state ballot are the ones that really have a direct impact on our local real estate stuff. Obviously, the president and the overarching federal policies that may come or not come as a result will be affected. Obviously, down the road, we've heard, or at least the media said, that Trump's going to eliminate federal income tax. But so I do believe that, once the election dust settles, there will be people entering the market regardless of what outcome they're waiting on. And so understand that you do have an opportunity. I would imagine that this weekend will be extremely slow, but for me, it feels like the phone is pretty hot right now. So people making plans and going from there. So I hope this helps you. I hope you understand that it's all going to be okay. Get out there and vote, and make sure you're paying attention to those the tax word, right? The worst three-letter word the worst three-letter word, the gift that keeps on giving, right? So just make sure that you're out there, you're doing what you can, be kind, be respectful, and hopefully we can all move past this pretty heated and I would say historical type of election here. And if you are looking to move, or you're watching this after the election, well, you know what happens, so you don't have any anxiety. Just pick up the phone and call me, and let's make your next real estate move. You can always call or text me, 303-210-0378. But for now, I'm going to leave you with that. Have a good one. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next time, and I will post that link to the Colorado ballot initiatives, so at least you have that as a starting point, as a resource. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.